do we look at the Sphinx today that's hiding? This is what the ancient Egyptian in the late period thought the same. Then they came and they began to dig to find out what's hidden under the...
What if the Great Sphinx is hiding more than history beneath its massive stone body? For centuries, this ancient monument stood in silence, with no inscription explaining who built it or why. But now, new scientific scans and a rare admission from archaeologist Zahi Hawass confirm the existence of a hidden cavern beneath the Sphinx itself. The discovery has reignited theories about lost chambers, buried knowledge, and secrets hidden for thousands of years. Could this underground void reveal a forgotten chapter of ancient Egypt that has remained sealed since the dawn of civilization? The Sphinx's silent surface. The Great Sphinx of Giza stands as the largest monolithic sculpture of the ancient world, yet it carries a profound and puzzling silence. Unlike other Egyptian monuments, it lacks any royal inscriptions or cartouches that reveal its creator or purpose. This absence is striking because, in ancient Egypt, the presence of a pharaoh's name was essential, believed to sustain the soul beyond death. Every temple, obelisk, and tomb proudly displayed hieroglyphs marking its royal patron, but the Sphinx remains mysteriously blank. This silence runs counter to a culture obsessed with identity and legacy. Stoneworkers proudly left graffiti inside the Great Pyramid, documenting their labor, but the colossal guardian standing just outside bears no such evidence. The complete lack of markings on a statue of this scale and importance suggests something deliberate rather than accidental. It is not simply that the Egyptians forgot to inscribe the Sphinx. Rather, it seems the surface was intentionally kept void of identifying features or information. Ancient architectural rules mandated that every sacred structure carry its owner's pharaonic signature. This was not just a decoration but a spiritual requirement. Without it, a monument would be stripped of its religious power and purpose. The Sphinx defies this rule, presenting an intellectual void that unsettles conventional explanations of Old Kingdom building practices. The identity and purpose of the statue remain unknown to researchers because there are no texts from burial sites or religious ceremonies that describe its burial practices. The silent stone raises critical questions because it shows why Giza's largest and most important monument should display its signature details. The structure does not follow established building patterns, which should have been used for all the nearby structures. The existing paradox creates a new understanding of Sphinx, which has been understood throughout history. Some people believe that erosion or time destroyed the inscriptions. The current condition of the surface and the neighboring monuments show that this possibility. The surrounding temples and pyramids maintain their original appearance because they display all their inscriptions, which proves that some carved names and titles still exist in their original state. The Sphinx shows itself as a hidden entity because the intentional silence creates an impression that it exists. The absence of visible details requires us to move from textual analysis to actual physical examination. The monument's blank surface challenges us to look not at what it tells us above ground, but at what it might be hiding beneath. The stone remains silent because it exists as a complete absence, which indicates that Sphinx's most important secret exists underground. The Sphinx protects its space through its surface, which keeps its secret story hidden from view. The hidden elements underneath the limestone body serve as the main tool to discover the functions and activities of the civilization that constructed the structure. This quiet facade marks the starting point for a journey into radical reinterpretation, where archaeology meets mystery in the quest to uncover what lies below. Architecture of concealment. Unlike the nearby pyramids, built by stacking millions of stone blocks upward, the Sphinx was carved down directly from the bedrock. Ancient workers removed tens of thousands of tons of surrounding limestone, creating a deep U-shaped trench that isolates the statue within a natural enclosure. This excavation method sets the Sphinx apart, making it less of a freestanding monument and more a stone mass embedded in its landscape. From an artistic perspective, placing a grand statue inside a trench that limits visibility seems counterintuitive. Most cultures would display their symbols prominently. inviting observation and reverence from all sides. But the Sphinx's design reveals something more calculated. The trench forms a natural barrier, creating vertical limestone walls that block access from the sides and rear. This geological enclosure acts like an isolation system, preventing horizontal tunneling or intrusion beneath the statue's body. Such a security measure is unusual for a decorative monument, but makes perfect sense if the intent was to protect whatever lies beneath. The trench effectively transforms the Sphinx into a sealed block of stone, supported and shielded by tens of thousands of tons of rock. The Sphinx exhibits an unusual characteristic, which displays an unequal relationship between its head size and its body dimensions. The extensive stone mass underneath the surface shows severe weathering through deep erosion channels, whereas the later carved face shows sharper features because of its recent creation. Experts spent years discussing whether the observed differences resulted from various rock properties or from design defects. Geological studies indicate that the body originated from natural rock formations, which workers later transformed through their activities. The act of carving a royal face onto a natural limestone outcrop redefined the statue's purpose. The pharaoh transformed an existing geological structure into a representation of his divine power, which established the stone as sacred within the holy site. The Sphinx thus became both natural and artificial, a hybrid of stone and sovereign power. The design exhibits more properties which match secretive purposes than which match celebratory purposes. The deep trench, combined with the stylized face, creates a complete defensive mechanism which prevents physical entry while using a recognized protective symbol to hide the underground area. The face diverts attention, disguising the Sphinx's true function. The Sphinx functions as a massive seal or lid, which protects an underground network from view while displaying royal power throughout its exterior. The architectural design leads us to direct our attention toward underground elements, which remain hidden from view while we examine the visible structure. Understanding the Sphinx as an engineered barrier challenges the conventional perception of it solely as an artistic marvel. Instead, it was part of a sophisticated layered defense, physical and psychological, built to preserve secrets buried deep below. Radar reveals hidden voids. For centuries, the solid limestone beneath the Sphinx was assumed to be just natural bedrock, but advances in technology began to challenge that assumption. In the late 1980s and 1990s, teams employing ground-penetrating radar and electromagnetic surveys brought new eyes to the Giza Plateau. These non-invasive methods send electromagnetic waves into the Earth and analyze the returned signals to map underground features without disturbing a speck of sand. One of the most pivotal studies was conducted by Japan's Waseda University under Dr. Sakuji Yoshimura. Their scans around the northern paw and between the Sphinx's front legs revealed surprising anomalies, spacious voids shaped with geometric precision. Unlike natural caves with irregular walls, these voids displayed clear right angles, flat ceilings, and vertical walls, characteristics typically associated with human engineering rather than nature. Beyond isolated chambers, the radar suggested corridors, narrow passageways connecting these rectangular spaces. These passage-like structures extended as deep as 5 to 12 meters below the bedrock floor, revealing not just one hidden cavity but a complex subterranean system. This discovery went beyond irregular karst formations expected in limestone and hinted at an intentional underground architecture. Further confirmation came from seismic reflection studies, which aligned with the radar data. These multiple lines of evidence pointed to a significant reduction in material density following planned, structured patterns beneath the Sphinx. This solidified the interpretation that a hidden, constructed network lies under the statue. The significance of these formations is magnified when considering the broader context. The presence of geometric voids and passageways is inconsistent with natural erosion, suggesting sophisticated engineering efforts in an era not commonly associated with such underground complexity. The discovery implies purposeful concealment, or protection of whatever these chambers contain. These underground features are no longer speculative. They have been mapped repeatedly using different technologies and methodologies, each reinforcing the existence of a vast hidden structure. The mystery deepens. What was buried beneath thousands of tons of rock, concealed for millennia? The radar findings marked a turning point, shifting the narrative from myth and conjecture to tangible, physical evidence. They invite us to reconsider the Sphinx not just as a surface monument, but as a gateway to something far more profound lurking beneath. As technology unveiled these subterranean secrets, geological clues would soon suggest that what lies underground was reinforced by materials not native to the Giza Plateau. Geological anomalies and granite evidence. The discoveries beneath the Sphinx took an even stranger turn when geological analyses of core samples were conducted during restoration work. Small holes were drilled into the statue's foundation to test the quality of the limestone, and what researchers found deep within the rock was unexpected: dust and tiny crystals of granite. Granite is a dense, igneous rock that does not naturally exist on the Giza Plateau, where the land is almost entirely sedimentary limestone. The nearest granite quarries are located more than 800 kilometers south in Aswan, along the Nile River. This presence of granite material beneath the Sphinx indicates that foreign stone was deliberately brought to the site and introduced into the underground zones. Such an effort implies intentional construction or reinforcement of whatever lies hidden below. Granite's extreme hardness and durability suggest it was used for a very specific purpose, possibly to strengthen or line chambers and passageways. This contradicts the idea that the cavities detected by radar are simply natural voids or accidental erosion features. Bringing granite from such a distant location required a complex labor system and careful planning, hinting at a function of great importance beneath the statue. It is difficult to dismiss these geological facts as coincidental. The forced collision of granite dust and engineered voids beneath the Sphinx challenges the traditional narrative that the monument was merely a symbolic guardian, carved in isolation from sophisticated underground architecture. The combination of geological data and radar images reveals a hidden design that exists underneath the Sphinx's inscribed surface. The discovered artifacts establish a complete break from established Egyptian studies which have persisted for many years. The existing frameworks which guide Egyptology research during 8 decades face major challenges because researchers have found new evidence about the original function of the monument and its decision to remain silent. The contradiction between the two statements reaches an extreme level. The civilization which kept records of its accomplishments throughout its territory chose to hide its most remarkable achievement behind the Sphinx, which contains an extensive network of underground rooms made from imported materials and shielded by stone. The historical record, established through official channels, gets destroyed through this fundamental division between public information and hidden details. The evidence establishes a tectonic shift, which transforms our understanding of the Sphinx from a public display of royal authority into a complex security mechanism which prevents entry. The stone mass weight, which exceeds 70,000 tons, begins to transform from a memorial structure into an enormous cover which protects hidden materials through the natural force of gravity and the constant nature of rock distribution. The architectural system requires people to develop a fresh perspective on the monument, which needs them to study both its visible structure and the hidden supportive tunnels that exist beneath it. The entire existence of the Sphinx as a statue face challenges, because it demands people to discover which objects need complete protection. As the physical evidence mounted, the long-standing official interpretations became harder to maintain. Yet, institutional resistance slowed the acceptance of these facts until the highest authorities finally issued their unprecedented concessions. Zahi Hawass's admission. For over 3 decades, Dr. Zahi Hawass stood as the most powerful figure in Egyptian archaeology and the supreme guardian of Giza's official narrative, responsible for overseeing excavation permits, approving research, and controlling the flow of information. His influence shaped how millions understood the Great Pyramid Complex and the Sphinx. Throughout this time, he firmly rejected any claims of hidden underground structures beneath the Sphinx, dismissing radar evidence as natural geological interference. Hawass's role was more than academic. It embodied the gatekeeping of Egypt's cultural heritage and its established history. The official explanation maintained that all anomalies detected were caused by karst cavities formed over millions of years by groundwater erosion. This interpretation protected the conventional story that the Sphinx was a surface monument crafted by Pharaoh Khafre to guard his tomb. Admitting otherwise threatened to destabilize tourism, scholarship, and national pride. However, as technology advanced and multiple independent studies confirmed the existence of oddly shaped voids beneath the Sphinx, the pressure grew unbearable. Repeated scans showed consistent right angles and rectangular chambers that could no longer be explained away as natural irregularities. The mounting physical evidence forced a re-examination of long-held positions. Then, in 2024, in a tightly controlled and carefully worded statement, Hawass officially acknowledged the reality of these hidden voids. Without detailing their origin or purpose, he declared, "We found something underneath the Sphinx. The stakes are real." This statement sent shockwaves through the archaeological community because it represented a surrender of the old interpretive framework he had defended for so long. The admission did not reveal new specifics, but confirmed the existence of an unknown and structured underground space beneath one of the world's most famous monuments. It validated the anomalies seen in radar and seismic data, and the architectural oddities first noted decades earlier. Now, the silence and the stone's defensive design could no longer be dismissed as coincidence or error. Hawass's concession destroyed the basic elements which support Egyptology's official story, but need to be examined because it reveals a hidden fact which both researchers and the public must acknowledge. The time had arrived when people stopped believing in complete solutions, which provided tidy answers to all historical events. The turning point led to the collapse of all conceptual framework. The exterior of the monument remained silent, while the hidden depths of the monument contained active mysteries, which needed to be explored according to newly established standards from the highest authorities. The institutional barrier ended when the new framework emerged, which identified the Sphinx as an advanced security system that protects hidden knowledge about ancient Egypt while also serving as a religious art and symbolic representation. The revelations beneath the Sphinx opened the door to questions deeper and darker than history has yet dared to explore. Reinterpreting the Sphinx's purpose. The new evidence beneath the Great Sphinx forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about this ancient marvel. No longer can it be viewed simply as a monumental statue crafted solely to honor Pharaoh Khafre or guard a tomb. Instead, the Sphinx reveals itself as a sophisticated sealing device, both physical and psychological, designed to obscure whatever secrets lie beneath its colossal mass. This layered function transforms the entire site from a symbol of power into a complex mechanism of concealment. Its sunken position within a deep trench, paired with the massive stone above, suggests the Sphinx was engineered as a massive lid or hatch, weighted by gravity and protected by natural rock barriers on all sides. Access to the underground voids is physically obstructed not by mere chance but by deliberate construction, making it nearly impossible to enter without catastrophic collapse. This defensive architecture speaks to the hidden space's extraordinary importance, demanding secrecy and security beyond typical tomb design. The carving of a royal face on what initially appears to be a natural rock outcrop was not merely artistic expression. It served to cloak the monument's more practical function with a familiar and compelling symbolic identity: the divine guardian. This psychological barrier deters inquiry, as people tend to respect and accept named sacred figures rather than seek what lies beneath or beyond their gaze. The face's presence redirected attention away from the underground enigma. The silence across all official historical records and the absence of any inscriptions or dedications suddenly becomes an understandable part of this intricate concealment strategy. Official texts neither recorded nor acknowledged the chambers, reinforcing the idea that they were meant to be forgotten or protected by enforced ignorance. This unprecedented secrecy, maintained for over 4,500 years, suggests the hidden content was of monumental significance, a truth too dangerous or profound to reveal. The imported granite which people used to build the Sphinx demonstrates their dedication to protecting all buried objects. The project required moving and using the heavy stone materials from their original location, which exceeded their decorative and standard building purposes. The material served as a vital component which strengthened the underground structure, because the designers built the underground system for its critical operational purpose. The discoveries create a complete breakdown of conventional Egyptology, which regarded the Sphinx as both a protective statue and a commemorative monument. The structure functions as dual-purpose building, which operates as both visible emblem and hidden protective barrier for the historical narrative, which includes concealed elements of a more severe situation. The complexity of the situation requires us to reevaluate the complete historical and symbolic framework that exists throughout the Giza Plateau. The discovery of the Sphinx as a camouflage structure forces us to examine what ancient civilizations considered dangerous enough to protect through their advanced technical skills and workforce dedication and complete secrecy. The underground secret remains a complete mystery, yet its significance becomes obvious because of the extensive measures taken to conceal and safeguard it. The Great Sphinx has stood silent for millennia, guarding secrets hidden in plain sight. Now, with new evidence and rare admissions, we glimpse a monument not just of stone, but of mystery and concealment. If this story sparked your curiosity, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations into history's greatest enigmas. And don't leave yet. The next video on your screen uncovers another ancient mystery that has experts questioning everything hidden beneath the sands of time. Thanks for watching.